Hello everybody and thank you for joining me today. My name is Utkarsh and just as always I'm excited to present to you a new video. So today's video is about a movie called Bad Genius. And I've been meaning to watch this movie for quite some time and here we are. I'm finally going to get to do it. So this is my first ever Thai movie. I've not seen a movie from Thailand, but I've heard great things. I have some friends from there and they've told me to check out this movie and I'm very excited to do so today. So let's take a look at this trailer. Let's see. It's the official international trailer. Okay. But before we dive right into it, I'm gonna give it one quick shot to pronounce the name of the movie in Thai. Shalard Games Gong. I'm so sorry for butchering that, but that was my attempt at it. And it's directed by Natawut Punpriya, and it stars Chutimun Shong Shorasung Sukyung in her feature film, apparently, as the main character, so I'm very excited to dive right into it. So I'm gonna start the trailer now. Let's go. Ooh, exam setting, I don't like that. Okay. Do not miss that. Classic, an Asian who's smart at math. Of course she wants to study there. Uh-oh. And it begins. Oh, so she's smart at everything? Ooh. Handsome. I wonder if that's a lot of money. Well, that's a new method to cheat. That's interesting. Oh, she got caught. True events. Sounds like the SAT. She's gonna memorize all the answers. Interesting. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, one of the X-Men. That's a lot of money. 1 million. It is a game of business. Ooh, okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? I just noticed something very interesting. There's a, right above the IUS, there's a square root symbol. So, very mathy, haha. And also you're probably wondering, of course, there's an Asian kid watching a movie about Asians being good at math, haha. But in all honesty, it actually looks really interesting. And, I'm very excited to check out the movie, but there's only one concern I have. It seems as if the trailer is giving away the entire story. I mean, there's a smart girl. She helps people cheat, I'm guessing. But then she gets caught, as we saw in the trailer. And then they're trying to cheat on some big exam. And it looked kind of like the SAT. So, I mean, I'm very excited to check it out. So, I'm going to go and watch the movie and I'll be right back. So, see you guys soon. Ooh, I'm back. So, you guessed it. I just saw Bad Genius. And I have to start off by saying, the director who directed this is not a bad genius. He's an excellent, great genius because, boy, oh boy, was this a great movie. And especially for my first ever Thai movie, I'm hooked. I'm definitely going to, check out more of their cinema because this was great, I must say. And especially for a foreign audience, there was nothing cultural that I didn't get. Well, I mean, I'm sure there'll be people who see it and they say, you didn't get that. But overall, I got I understood everything that was being said. I understood the main point and what the characters were feeling, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. And as I was doing a little research, I was fascinated by the fact that uh, not to what the director of the movie, he also wrote the movie. And I always find that fascinating because if you believe in a story so much that you're putting your own money into it by producing it, or your hard work, blood, sweat, and tears by directing it, then it really must mean something to you, or you must feel that this is a story that has to be told, which was evident by in this work by Nuttawut, because I think from top to bottom, a great piece. I mean, did it have a few flaws, which I'll come up on soon? Yes, but overall, I think people must watch this movie. Is it one of the best movies out there? Definitely not. But is it still a great watch that you're not going to regret your time and probably get take something out of it? Absolutely. So overall, I would recommend this movie, and it's a great movie. But now touching up into into the actors, their acting, and the overall story, I think as I was doing research, as I mentioned earlier, I found out something which was amazing. The main girl, Lynn. In the movie, her name was Lynn, but in real life, her name is Chitamon. This was her like debutante role. This was her first ever movie, and that was fascinating because I mean, come on, she was easily the best, best actor in that entire piece because I mean, not only did she grab your attention, she made you feel what she felt, and you were kind of there on the entire journey with her. And the fact that this was her first movie, that was definitely not evident at all, and that's a great sign. And I just looked into her work, and after this movie, she's done I think 4 or 5 other movies and 4 or 5 other shows. And as for the director, this was the second ever movie he directed, but I'm sure his other works are great as well. He only has 3 movies out though because he's generally someone who works with music videos or in television. But I think he must work more with movies because I mean, motion picture is definitely his stronghold as well. But going back to the characters, I think Lynn was written in an excellent fashion because she had a full arc. We go from the beginning where she's just a goody two shoe girl. All she cares about is getting into this prestigious school, doing well there, and then going abroad. As a lot of Asian kids have, they have that dream, and so it's not hard to believe. But then everything happens, and she gets into this whole cheating thing, and then it gets worse and worse. And the fascinating thing is that she keeps on justifying it. And in the real world, that's exactly what happens. Nobody just does bad things and looks at themselves in the mirror and they say, "Oh, I'm a bad person." No, they say, "Nah, this is fine because blah blah blah. I mean, I'm helping people out by doing this." Or blah blah blah, whatever the case is. And that's exactly what she did. But as as the movie progressed and there were more and more consequences, she realized that that's not the case, and that was probably overall the moral of the story as well. Don't cheat, don't take the easy way out, don't take the easy quick way to just jump around to your final road, because there is no such thing as jumping from A to your final destination, because that's not really a final destination. And she had many consequences, and at the end of the day, she came back around, realized her mistakes, and she improved as a person. But what I found fascinating was the fact that Bank, while also a super genius and goody two shoe, he had a different arc, and I like that because that way you don't have cookie cutter characters, and that's and in the real world, not every person has a quote unquote happy ending. Some people don't change, and that's okay because that's how people are, and they're not always going to have happy endings like people would in movies. And I like that because in Bank's case, he was forced into this whole thing. He did not want to be a part of this cheating scandal, right? And that's it is what it is. But he made that conscious choice to continue doing this even after they had repeatedly gotten caught, and that's okay. And moving on to Grace and Pat, the 2 rich kids that they were helping out, or they partnered to help out with. They were interesting characters. I mean, they did a great job portraying the characters, the 2 actors. But in terms of the writing, I think there could have been a few moments in the movie where you could see them being hesitant, because I felt that they were a bit one dimensional for the most part. They were just those spoiled rich kids who were just like, take my money, give me the grades. I just want to get out of here. I want to get something I don't deserve. But I would have liked if there were a few moments in between where they're hesitating, where they're at least questioning themselves, like, is this okay to do? And I don't know if there was a strong enough moment where that was evident. But all in all, the writing was still excellent. The only issue I had, besides this minor thing that I mentioned, was at times the believability was not really that high. And what I mean by that is, I mean, again, overall a great story, but it felt a little rushed towards the end when they were taking the stick and they had to go to Australia, got caught, and it was became like this whole action sequence, which is fine. And then they came back to Thailand, and I think that little bit, at the end, it could have been a little more believable. I mean, because like for example, Grace and Pat, they had a whole factory set up where they were like getting the answers that were being memorized by Bank and Lin, which is understandable because they showed that Bank is this great memorization guy who memorizes digits of pi, which is fine. But then they're printing that out on a pencil, and then people are supposed to look at the pencil, and I mean, it was just interesting. But still, if we look past the slight believability problem, then I think it was a great piece, and overall, I would definitely recommend it. And now touching up on one final subject, which was kind of the main subject of the movie, was cheating, right? As I said before, it was pretty in your face. It was not subtle. The moral was not definitely not subtle. It was pretty obvious. Hey, don't cheat. Bad consequences. Blah blah blah. But what was interesting is even though it was a school setting and these were school kids, this is a this can apply to real life as well. And as a matter of fact, this probably aligns with real life in many ways that we wouldn't realize. But I'm not gonna go too much into the cheating thing because I think, like I said, it's not very subtle. It's in your face, so there's not too much to go into that. But one thing I would say that made me smile a little was the fact that they were cheating like by doing piano keys. And to be honest, I would like to think I'm not a dumb person because I've been through so much education. But if I was told like this is A, this is B, they would all look the same to me. I don't play the piano, and I'm not that musically gifted. And so if I'm sitting, let's just say 2 rows away from Lynn, and I see her going do 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 do, that's A, that's B, they would all look the same to me, and I would probably still fail the test, even if she's there to help everyone. So that was just funny to me because that was one of the most complicated ways I've seen. I mean, it clearly worked for people in the movie, which is great. And as for the memorization part, which I mentioned about the stick, that's still believable. That's it's interesting because you have to memorize 50 each per section or something. But still, I guess I'll look past that because they're meant to be super geniuses. But one last thing I want to end on is personal cheating stories that I've seen people around me do, and some of them are just either funny or just they have to be told. So one such story is when I was in high school, a friend of mine, he was in a grade above me, and he was just a great hacker. He was just really good at the whole IT thing, but more so the hacking aspect. And he was just excellent. And I remember there was a time where he wanted to test out his skills, and he wanted to cheat on an exam. But before he cheated on an exam, he wanted to try out if his hacking would even work within the school system. So what he did is he hacked into the lunch menu for our high school, and he added in tater tots to the menu, for next week. And guess what? The following week we had tater tots, and he was so happy, and a lot of people were happy for tater tots, obviously. But interestingly, because it worked the first time, then he wanted to take it to the next level, and he used his hacking skills to hack into one of the science teacher's laptops. He found the next exam, shared it amongst a lot of his peers, and a lot of people in that class got hundreds. And obviously that was very suspicious, so he got caught and got kicked out. And I believe soon after he opened his startup, and he's been doing really well. So I guess at the end of the day, things did work out for him. But maybe not, maybe don't cheat. And if you're gonna do it like that, don't give it out to so many people where it'll be obvious. But the other story, which is interesting because a similar scene like this happened within the movie, was there's a scene in the movie where Lynn literally shoves the pencil down her throat so that she can throw up, and then that would serve as a distraction for her to just escape, I guess. Something very similar happened where a friend of mine at college, in my first year of college, I remember this was in physics class. I'm not gonna mention the person's name, obviously. He was the probably the biggest cheater I've seen in my life. I mean, there was not a single class this kid did not cheat in. And he would pay people in India and Bangladesh to be ready, and he would take pictures of the exam papers, send it to them, and then they would reply back with answers. And I don't know how, but he would find a way to do it all. So I don't know. But one of those times, the professor was getting a little suspicious. So this guy, I don't know what went through his head. He wanted to hide his phone in time before the professor came around to him. He took his pencil, turned around, stabbed himself in the tongue, and started bleeding. And that was his way to distract the professor, to hide his phone quickly and go to the bathroom. I mean, come on. What next level cheating is this, that you're physically hurting yourself and stabbing yourself in the tongue with a pencil to get away with it? Just study a little. It's not that hard. I promise you. But overall, just interesting stories, and it was, pretty similar to the whole the pencil scene from Lynn. And then when I was seeing that, I was like, oh well, not that far off from what I've actually seen in real life. But overall, great movie. That's I'm just gonna leave it at that. But one final thing I will say though is that normally the way I will, when I react to a movie after I've seen it is I'll have a spoiler section, sorry, non-spoiler section, and a spoiler section. But that's generally only for movies that are relatively new. But since this movie came out in 2017, I don't really think there's a need to do that. But yeah, please watch this movie. And overall, I would probably give this a 7 out of 10. And thank you for joining me. And next time, maybe I'm gonna do the Spider-Man movie, because, like I said, I'm a big Marvel fan and I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see. Thank you again, and I'm gonna sign off. Oh, wait. And you thought I'm gonna sign off. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And now I'm gonna sign off. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Bye-bye.